Welcome to a software strategy podcast. Today, we're talking about data science as a service. This is an SSTC software strategy case study. It's one of the consultancies that we run. We run data science as a service, a user experience lab, information security, among others. This was a project that we did in conjunction with Nottingham Trent University. Nottingham Trent University run a service called Productivity Through Innovation, which allows them and their clients to access European regional development funds. We're lucky enough to work with Mace Sport and a very forward-thinking and energetic CEO in Ben Thompson. So we ran through our standard discovery process, which really starts off just working through a given business process, just seeing how we might assist in that business process. What are the issues that the customer is facing? Maybe it's just a procedural issue that we can just work through how the workflow might be improved. Maybe there's some automation that might help, and that we might know the market well enough to be able to recommend somebody, or at least develop a short list. It might be that we can help develop might be able to help develop a specification, or indeed run a procurement process right the way through to maybe even helping with the build out of that software. The most important artifact that we develop in that discovery phase is to really have a process flow. So this really defines the client engagement. For Mace Sport, you can see that we were gathering together some social media data, as well as some data within Mace's systems, as well as some government data, and putting it into a data lake such that we could build an operational data store, and from there move it into a data warehouse such that it would support dashboards for management inquiry to answer executive questions and provide support through drill downs. When we run those meetings, it allows us to examine what questions should be answered within those dashboards, and we also bring together other CEOs that might have similar information needs. But we started to understand what Ben's information requirements were, what are the questions he's really interested in. Like who's likely to convert to a participant, be a great to convert them, and how long will it take? How many people look like they're on the cusp of converting to become a participant? Do they need other equipment to participate in a given sport? Are they likely to require online, or would they be candidates for face-to-face training in that given sport? He's also interested in how sports might blend, whether there's a given discipline in one sport that might be very useful in another sport. Given that he's found and nurtured an audience for a given sport, there are other companies that might be interested in being able to communicate with that audience as well. And so there are some other capabilities that Ben can offer to other parties as well, who might be supplying some of that equipment. So when we've gone through and worked out what questions might be asked, or we might need to answer, we'll quickly develop a conceptual prototype just in whatever tools we've got that can provide something back to the clients to actually look at quickly. It allows us to understand whether or not we've understood the issues well enough. It also allows us to start to look at what the information requirements are and whether or not we have data that might be able to help answer those questions. So that's what we do within a conceptual prototype. It allows us to build out a specification. But the client might well ask us to go further and build it out as a proof of concept. So now, rather than it being just a conceptual prototype, you might be able to click through it, but it's not real software. We build out a proof of concept that really would be a software embodiment of that concept, which allows us to really understand how the analytic model will actually hang together. What are the facts that we might need to gather together, and then what metrics might we be able to determine by those facts, and what are the targets that we should have for those metrics, and what thresholds should we have around those targets to know how well we're doing, and then really what are the dimensions around which we would want to perform an analysis. It also allows us to confirm that we've got the appropriate start data. We can bring it into our data lake, and just make sure that our data pipelines are actually working correctly. It allows us to go through transformation. Generally, when we've got the data from a source system, it'll be in a very good transactional format for that source system, but it might not be in the best format for analytic reporting. So we'll go through some transformation. What you're seeing here is that transformation being done within structured query language to move us from the source data that's in the data lake to make sure that it's appropriate for moving into the process of analysis. But analysis tends to happen at multiple different levels, so we'll have to go through summarization as well. So this you're seeing here just that what the structured query language looks like to summarize up at different levels of summarization, such that we can build out an analysis cube or a data warehouse, which allows us to provide what's needed for a visualization. So then the client can really get their hands on like real software, and they can drill down, confirm that it's working as they would have liked. But of course, this is just the proof of concept. If the client wishes to move it to a professional level, then we've got to go through providing the specifications, make sure that we are writing up the technical approach. We've got a good QA plan in place, as well as a testing framework to execute on that QA plan for unit testing, UI testing, as well as install testing to make sure that everything works whenever you install it. And I keep track of those unit tests for every function point that we've got within the specification document, just to confirm that everything's working as we had intended. Of course, this case study was run in conjunction with Nottingham-Trent University, so it allowed us to incorporate this project into teaching, and we were fortunate enough to have Ben come and talk to students and explain why data science was helping him as an entrepreneur in creating and moving his business forward. It meant that students got the real world problem of looking through the data sources and going through data prep for that particular problem. They got to work through what the analysis questions should be. Like, they got to work through what an analytic design might be that might best address those questions, whether or not they are for things that have happened or things that are likely to happen in the predictive models, as well as work out what the best visualization might be to convey that data to management. It allowed us to advertise what the hands-on nature and the industry engagement that we had with our data science as a service, with our data science courses, and the work that students did within that course. So the course got known far and wide through that advertising. But of course, at the time this was done, I was really teaching full time, so it meant that we had to find partners in the local area that were experts in the platforms that I'd used to develop that application. And in finding those partners, it also meant that we created opportunities for graduates to support the application on an ongoing basis. So if you think that there's something that we could help you with in the data science area, if there's an analysis problem, if there is a difficult business question that you wish you could get answered, then please feel free to start a conversation with us by reaching out to softwarestrategyconsulting.co.uk/contact, or you could email info@softwarestrategyconsulting.co.uk, or just give us a call. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.